Recently I was back on a job, new build job, which there'd been a lot of drying out since I was last there. So the ceiling boards, about 9-inch boards, had dried out. There was about 1/4 of an inch gap in the boards. Now usually I would use my polyfiller, bit of foam and polyfiller, but because it was finished I was literally snagging. So what I didn't want to do was start applying something like this and then having to sand down. So what I opted for was a bit of foam and some of this Sikaflex+EBT Plus. So really good, really flexible, saved me a lot of time. Applied it on one morning and the following morning coated it up without priming, water-based paint. I want to take a look now at the bond strength and just a quick look at how I coated it up. It's the Sikaflex that I put on the board the other day. All I did was just smooth it out. Did nothing else to the board. It's just gone straight onto the paint. This is an oil-based eggshell and it's sat on top. So obviously grey. Comes in quite a few different colours. Quite a lot actually. So bond strength. Like I say, I've not done anything with this. Got a screwdriver and I just want to give it a poke about. So it's not that bad at all, stuck quite well. That's without any preparation on the board at all. So the paint I used on it was satin wood. Well, you'll be able to see what I did in a minute. But what I want to do here is coat this up with some water-based gloss. First one is Leyland fast drying gloss. So this is the non-yellowing, like I say, water-based gloss. So no undercoat or primer. Shall we get some on? So again, the idea of using this was just the least amount of intervention. So now I've got some water-based Dulux satin wood. So just want to be looking at adhesion on this. So if, depending on what paint you were using, then obviously this is going to affect how many coats you need to put on. So I was lucky that the paint that I was using was very similar to the colour of the Sikaflex I used. So again, usually you're not going to be painting over this when you apply, but if you need to, then yeah. So we'll leave these to dry and then we'll just take a look. Here I've already coated some up, some pieces. That was the piece from out the end of the tube. I've cut in half. So we've got the gloss on that one and the satin wood on this one. So we'll just take a look at these while this dries. Here it is. I've just squished this back together. So on this side is the satin wood and this side is the gloss. Now with this being so flexible, then a good flexible paint here is advisable. You know, something like a chalky paint might not sit as well, because when this stuff flexes and stretches, then you want the paint to be able to flex and stretch with it. So I'll just take these apart, and first of all the gloss one. No preparation on this whatsoever. Just applied the gloss like I did on the board, straight to it. So that's good. That sits okay. And with it being, like I say, so flexible, you need that to be able to flex with it. So that's the only time you'll start to have a problem. If the paint isn't flexible enough, then as you see, it starts to crack. But if we're only getting a certain amount of movement, then that's okay. White sealant would be better. And then again, this satin straight onto it, it's going to be the same. It'll sit really well. Doesn't seem to want to crack the same. That's the Dulux satin wood. Quite impressed with that. So that's performed better than the gloss. Could be two things going on there. The fact that the satin just sits better with it, or with this being a colour, there's more pigment, more body, more build to the paint. But that's good. Take a look at the other one. Now this is dry, I'm just going to give it a bit of a rub over, and you can see both are taking to it, no problem whatsoever. But as you could see with this, the problem lies in, again, when it starts to flex and stretch. But yeah, that's good. Use this end just to rub over there, and it's not lifting it off, no problem. That's good. Yeah, so no problem. Pretty much like a polymer, these hybrids. So if you were painting with an oil-based paint, then you would want to prime. Now obviously if it's got something on, then you're okay. A very gentle abrasion, just a soft pad, would give it enough key to put some oil paint on top of it. If you were going over this and you wanted to prime it from sort of like just your sealant, there's no paint on, then just a good flexible primer, Zinta 123, and if it's a bead, using the brush, small brush, you can just touch that bead. Yeah, so good stuff. No problem about painting over it, but overall a good satin I think works better. Definitely the best paint for it. So just take a look now at what I did.